Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Meet the Bookstagrammer. My name is Megan and I am an associate on the social media team here at Random House. And today we're going to be talking to Lex with the Text, who is a fabulous bookstagrammer who's going to come on and talk about all book and fashion, and we're going to have a great time. So waiting to pull her in. She's connecting now. There she is. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Nice to talk to you
I know.
through Instagram instead of just messaging and emailing.
It's always nice to put a face to the handle, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
So hi, why don't you introduce yourself with your name, your Instagram handle, and your pronouns for all of our lovely viewers.
Okay. So, hey everybody, thank you guys for joining. My name's Alexis, or Lex. That's like my nickname. It's always been my nickname growing up. My handle on Instagram is Lex with the text, so LEX _ with the and then _ text. And my pronouns are she and her.
Awesome, thank you. So we've linked to your profile in the pinned comment down there. Let me see if I can prop you up a little bit better here. There we go. That's better. And everyone should go follow her. She's linked in the comment. If you have any questions for us as we go along, there's a little question box down at the bottom. Feel free to submit some questions and we'll start answering those in a little bit. Okay, so Lex, my first question. I always love to hear everyone's Bookstagram origin story. Like, how did you find Bookstagram? What inspired you to start your Bookstagram account? How did you stumble into this little perfect corner of the internet that we have?
Yeah, so I always was like a big reader growing up. Like my mom would always take my little brother and I, who I see is on here. She would always take us to the library. And then I went to college. I'm from Houston, so I moved to Atlanta, Georgia for college, and I was a bio major, so I just wasn't reading like that. I just took a big hiatus from my reading life. And then when I graduated from school and I graduated from my master's, I moved back to Texas, and I just was like getting back in the groove of things in a new city, and reading just became like a part of my daily life. I had just kind of gone through a difficult period, so it really was a healing time for me. And I stumbled across a girl's page who is now one of my very close friends, but we met through Instagram, Antonia, who is Black Girl That Reads. Yes. We stumbled across each other. We're both in Houston, and we made our own book club. We went to the Well-Read Black Girl Festival together, and I think after that weekend, I think that was like 2018, after that weekend, I was like, okay, I'm just going to start my own Bookstagram because I love what she was doing, and I just wanted to talk about books. And I didn't want to, annoy everyone on my personal Instagram page because I'm sure they were sick of me posting all my books anyway. So I just decided, let me jump on faith and do it. And I'm so happy I did. I love Bookstagram. I'm like obsessed with it, and my fiance is always like, get off your phone. I'm like always scrolling, so it's been a happy decision.
Yeah, it becomes a lifestyle after a while. You just can't stop looking through everyone's photos.
Exactly.
I love that you came from like knowing someone in real life to Bookstagram. You're actually, I think, the second person to have that kind of origin story. I feel like everyone else does it the opposite way, but I love that like you found someone IRL and then translated it to Instagram. That's so cool.
Which is crazy. I always like see other people's stories, and so I'm like, wow, I'm like the opposite of everyone. I like knew someone going in, and she was always very encouraging and like telling me, just do it, you're gonna love it. And I'm so glad I did.
Yes, we love that. Okay, so how has your reading changed since you started your Bookstagram? Like, did you read the same things before Bookstagram as you read now, or has it really sort of honed your taste?
I feel like I was exposed to more books that I had no clue about. And I had, I had my list of what I wanted to read. And I just feel like Bookstagram just blew that up. I was seeing all this new stuff. I was like, I've never heard of this author. I've never heard of like this genre. I didn't even know certain books were written, that way. And so I definitely started, exploring and expanding what I was reading. But what was consistent was I really love to read books by authors of color, primarily like Black writers, was like my go-to. I really wanted to pick that back up, especially coming from an HBCU. I had just graduated from 2 HBCUs, so I went to Spelman College, which is a all-girls private HBCU in Georgia, and so that was like a really inspiring situation. I was like, I need to learn more about, you know, myself, and so my history and my ancestors and things like that. And so that was like a big jump for me. And I think just Bookstagram helped me expand what was out there.
Yeah, I love that you had a list and Bookstagram blew that up, because that is
Yes,
something I think we can all relate
agree.
to.
Yeah,
You know,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, what are like our monthly TBRs when we have Bookstagram that tells us what to read?
Yeah. It just every month it's something different. It's like something always just makes my list. If I see a certain post, my list expands.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
So how have your photos changed over the course of your time on Bookstagram? Did you
Oh
have
my
a
God.
specific like vision that you started with that you've moved away from, or how has that sort of evolved?
So I never really had a vision, and I feel like now I really don't have a vision. I just like to have a lot of colors, and like I like to things to be kind of vibrant. But that's really, I don't have a certain filter or anything like that. I just kind of like to incorporate colors, and that's really been consistent since day one. And I would say also I make sure I post more consistently. I wasn't taking it as seriously as I do now, and now I feel like it's like I'm really committed to it, because I'm in school too. Currently, I'm working on my PhD. So besides, you know, me working on dissertation, reading is such an outlet, and Bookstagram is such an outlet for me. So I just love to, you know, make tweaks here and there.
Yeah, definitely. I love all of the colors on your page. It's such a bright, happy page to go look at, you know, as its own thing. It makes me very happy every time. So speaking of your colors, a lot of your colorful photos on your grid are some of your fabulous outfits. And I think you know that fashion is also very close to my heart as well. So do you
Yes.
want to speak a little bit about your fashion inspiration, how you know, combine those two things on Bookstagram, all things fashion? Tell me everything.
Okay, so I've always loved fashion. I mean, I'm from the South, so I grew up in Texas, but my family's from Louisiana. So we just grew up. My mom was always like, she won best dressed growing up. So she would always like put me in bows. Like if I look at pictures, I just always was wearing, I had bonnets. Like, I'm like, who puts bonnets on their baby? But I was always very cutesy, grew up that way. And then same, just going into like high school and then college for sure. When I went to my HBCU, the girls were just so amazing, and everybody was just dressed cute. And I joined the dance team, and that we just had to carry ourselves a certain way on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just always had that like poise. And of course, I'm sure it comes from my mom, because she just was like the fashionista. She's always like, Alexis, make sure you always have some earrings in your purse, or, you know, always have your earrings on. So I just think I was always that's how I was brought up. So it's just in me.
Just part of your life. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's such a specific thing to bring in with books. I feel like combining,
Yes.
you know, books and fashion. We see quite a few accounts out there that have started to do that recently. So
Yes.
what sort of inspired you to combine the two on your Bookstagram page?
So I think I follow a lot of like influencers that are not particularly Bookstagrammers as well. And so I love following like fashion and beauty bloggers, and just getting like tips on what sales are going on and things like that. And so I love how they do their pictures. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder, you know, if I could incorporate that and like do a cute outfit with a book. And then it just turned into that. And there's a couple of like Bookstagram pages that of course do that as well. And I always love to see how people match books with their outfits. And so it's just another creative way to do Bookstagram, and I think it's pretty cool. And I'm able to combine my love of shopping and fashion, which is it's really an addiction at this point, books and fashion. Like I'm always buying one of the two. And so, yeah, it's the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've definitely nailed that that fashion influencer look, but also make it bookish. I think everyone
Yes.
in the comments, I'm sure, is agreeing that you've got that nailed down for sure. Okay, so in addition to all of your fashion and your books, you started a fabulous challenge for
Yes.
Bookstagram this month that I've been so excited to see all the posts for. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
that?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, first, I'm so happy at how well it's going, because it was a very, I created it just on a whim back in September, actually. So I was like, oh, there's this new word that it's not really as known, BIPOC. It's like, what the heck is that? At first, I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what does that stand for? I thought it was like biopic at first glance. And so I was like, okay, I know I can't be the only one that's, not really sure what this is. Once I really looked in and did my research, Black, Indigenous, people of color, I thought that was like so cool. And it's a way that incorporates all these different cultures, and it's not, erasing certain people just by, throwing a blanket statement, people of color, and so I was just like, there's got to be a way to like put this word out there and make it more popular where it's still fun and cool and people can read books by those type of authors. And so BIPOC, I was like, what's October's coming? Oh my gosh, I was like, that's perfect. BIPOCtober. And I was like running it by my fiance who's right there. And so he was like, that's really cool. You should do it. And so I just started making graphics. I was looking at other people's challenges. One of my like challenges that I participated in before in February of this year was Read Soul Lit by, I think her name is Brown Girl Reading, Dee Dee. I loved her challenge. I participated that one in February, and I was like, oh, I want to do another challenge. I know other people want to do another challenge. So that's kind of where it came. I was like, I'll do a month long. Why not? Why not do it? And so I was nervous about it because I was like, no one's going to participate like that. But everyone's been posting so many great photos, and my list of books has continued to grow like astronomically this month, especially.
Yeah, yeah. Just scrolling through that hashtag is so bad for my wallet. I'm like, oh God, I
Oh
want
yeah.
every single book in all of these
Just
posts.
stay away. It's like if you don't want to spend any money, stay away from the hashtag.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so you have like a full month of prompts for this challenge. Do you
Yes.
have a favorite prompt that you have come up with for this challenge, or do you have one that you're like really excited for people to do that they haven't gotten to yet?
I think I'm looking for, well, okay. Well, the ones so far, I think I like day three was gave you chills, a book that gave you chills. And I loved that and what everybody posted that day. That day was just so special to me because I do feel like that's, people were recommending their favorites or books that really touched them and really just gave them shivers in a good or bad way. So I just thought that day was really good. But I think coming up, a day that I'm looking forward to is probably Dreams and Nightmares, which is later in the month. But I do feel like that's going to be really interesting because that's so broad and it's kind of like, oh, you can really pick anything to fall under that category and that prompt. So,
Yeah, yeah. The creativity that comes along with Bookstagram challenges is my favorite part. Just seeing how everyone interprets your
yes.
prompts and that it's so many different ways that people come at it. It's really inspiring.
Exactly. I'm like, it's all broad, and like I like that because when I participate in other people's challenges, I always DM the Instagrammer, and I'm like, how do you want us to do this? And they're just like, leave, it's up to you. Everything's up to you. This is all for fun, and I'm excited that other people are able to see the fun in it too. So, just
Yeah, definitely. You're getting suggestions for a Christmas challenge in the comments, I see. People want you
a
to keep
Christmas
going.
challenge. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. And
They're
I
very
love
excited.
Christmas. It's everyone loves like Christmas time. The holiday season is just the best. So that's a good idea.
There you go. Yeah, you have
Right.
fans that are asking for it, so you might want to give
Okay,
fans
I
what they
see.
want.
Yay! That's exciting.
Oh, it's so fun. Okay, so I would love to know your book recommendations. Do you have something that you've read recently that you're super excited about? Or this is the part that everyone loves on Bookstagram is seeing what everyone's reading. So
Okay.
throw them at me. What do you got?
I have some like all these books around me. So some that I really, really love. Okay, I'm currently reading When No One Is Watching.
Yeah.
And it looks kind of crazy because I knocked it into the pool when I was reading it at the pool this summer. So it looks kind of jank, but I love this one. And this is a big recommendation because it talks about really important issues and has a thriller feel, and I really love it. And I really enjoy these two memoirs, Heavy by Kiesi Layman, and then Jasmine Ward, who's like my favorite. I love Men We Read. So those are like for sure my go-to like recommendations if you want a memoir. Prepare yourself, get tissues. And then I'm in public health. That's what I'm getting my degree in. So I love all things by like Harriet A. Washington. So Medical Apartheid is amazing. And I was a bio major. So all things like medicine and our, healthcare system, like our past, I love to learn about it because it affects us today and it's so important. And of course, public health, just because this pandemic and everything. So I love this. And then A Terrible Thing to Waste is the other one by Harriet Washington. So about like environmental racism, I love this one. It's a great read. Harriet Washington does like an amazing job with her research. I just really admire her as a doctoral student. I'm like, she's goals. And then I really also love this year, How Much of These Hills is Gold.
Yeah.
This one, I know it got nominated for an award this year. I don't remember, but it was really good. I read it earlier this year and I was like, okay, this is definitely going to be on my top 10 of 2020 for sure. And then of course, I also love The Vanishing Half.
Yes.
This one is so good. Oh my gosh. I was actually in my apartment when I finished it, like going crazy. And I know my fiance was looking at me like, what's wrong with her? She's over there spazzing out. But it was just so good, and this is a must read. And then I have a bunch more, but I don't want to I can keep going if
yeah, I think
more.
Those are amazing. Everyone in the comments is loving them, taking notes. Perfect. Yay. Write these down.
And then one more I really like, which I know some other people like this one too, but Caucasia by Tansy Senna is really good. I enjoyed this one, and I believe she also has another book called New People, which I read, and that one was good too, but I liked Caucasia better. I enjoyed the different aspect on being a mixed race child was how she went about it. I don't think it's her story per se. I think a little bit is about coming from her perspective, but it's great. It's great. So it's a must read. I tell everyone about that one. So
I love that. Yeah, a couple of new ones for me. So you're also blowing up my whole list. So thank you for that. Looks like we might have some questions down here that we should check out real quick. Oh, here's a good one. Let me see. Any recommendations of untraditional Black stories in different genres like fantasy or sci-fi? Ooh, do you have any of those genre recs?
So I would say I really liked, sci-fi is not really my favorite, or fantasy, but I really did love the Children of Blood and Bone series of Tomi Adeyemi. I loved that series. I didn't like the second book as much as the first one. The first one has just got me super excited from page one. I was in it to win it. So that series is really good. And I've been hearing a lot about Legendborn, which is on my TBR for this month. I just downloaded the audiobook. And that cover is amazing. I just downloaded the audiobook, so I cannot wait to start that one. And I already know I'm going to enjoy it just because I started looking at reviews and I'm like, this is going to be a good read. So for sure.
Yeah, those are two really great ones. Okay, let me see. This is an excellent question that I've been thinking of this whole time too. You're getting your PhD and you manage a book account that is growing daily. How do you make time for it all? You're Superwoman. What's your secret?
Oh my gosh. So I have to work on my sleep because I have this weird sleep schedule. So I will say my sleep schedule is off. Some nights I'll be pulling an all-nighter and then the next day so my sleep schedule is everywhere. So I'm not perfect or anything, by any means necessary. But I balance everything by listening to audiobooks during the day, like while I'm just doing errands, or if I was driving around. I'm not driving around as much, but I like audiobooks because I can just put my headphones in and just be able to be doing other things, where it's like whether I'm going through emails for school or things like that, or planning, making outlines for like what I'm writing about for a dissertation. I can still be listening to my audiobook at the same time. So it's like, I feel like I'm getting my reading done, but for sure I had to be consistent. I had to like knock out work, whether it was during the middle of the night, knock out work, just pull an all-nighter, and then I can spend the next day reading and give myself that little break. I like to reward myself with reading time. But other than that, if I want to be consistent and I'm, having a good week, I'll read like before bed. That's like, no matter what, if it gets to the nitty gritty, I will just read right before I go to sleep. And that's always a win, to like make sure I'm still reading. And so, of course, some months are better than others, but school is so much, mind and thinking, and just so draining, that I see reading as an outlet for me. It's like my self-care.
I love that. I like that it's your reward too.
Yes, yes.
Although your first reaction being I don't sleep is also very relatable. You got to get it all done. You got to sacrifice something, and it's sleep.
Yeah. Sleep. So I'm sorry. It's like someday, if I have a bad day, this is going to be a 3-hour night of rest, but it's okay. I'll just play catch up. So it's the real life.
Amazing. Okay, we have so many questions. Oh my goodness. Here's a good one. Favorite audiobook? I love this question because audiobooks are such a specific experience. So I always love to hear why people have their favorites.
Favorite audiobook? Oh my gosh, there's so many. I guess I'd have to say Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson.
Yes.
That audiobook is amazing. It just took me in, the way she just brought that story to life. I was on the edge, and I had the physical book, but I just couldn't even pick up I just was like listening to it like it was a movie, and that one is a really good audiobook. And I forgot the name of the narrator, but she always does an amazing job with whatever book she narrates. So
that's awesome.
I'd have to say Allegedly.
Yeah, I have to listen to it. I've only read it, but I can imagine that that's an amazing
It's so good. I was like, wow, she killed this.
That's awesome. I love that answer. My goodness, so many questions. Let's see. If you could read one book for the rest of your life, what book would it be? That's such an interesting question. I like that one.
Actually, I already know.
Oh, wow. That's so fast.
I didn't show this one, but this is like my favorite book. Homegoing.
One of my favorites too.
It's one of my favorites. I love this book so much. And I studied abroad when I was at Spelman. I studied abroad in Ghana. So I went to some of the places that she, Okay.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Back. Hey!
Slight technical difficulties. No, we're back. We're fine.
Okay, we're back.
We're talking about Homegoing. You studied abroad. Yes.
So good. And I think I just, I know a lot of people love this book. It's like, I'm not the only one. But I think for me, what made it was so special was that trip. And I really recommend, when we can get back traveling and moving again, that everyone goes to Ghana and visits those slave castles, because it's just so eye-opening, and you can just feel the atmosphere. And so everything she was writing, it felt so real to me. So
I love that so much. Okay, let's see if we can get a couple more questions in here. Let's see.
Alex.
Oh, here's a good one. Favorite, do you have one of these? Favorite turned movie? This is a controversial question because adaptations are so touch and go.
It is. Oh, I would say I really liked the women of, I did like Harry Potter. I was about to say that, but Harry Potter, and then The Women of Brewster Place is actually a really good book. It was gonna be my book club choice, and I think I think we did make it our book of choice and we were going to watch the movie. But the movie is actually so good. I love the cast. So if everyone will go look that up, I think it's on like Amazon Prime Video. It's kind of hard to find, but if you can find it online, it's so good. The Women of Brewster Place. It has like an all-star cast. It's kind of an older movie, but I really loved reading the book and then seeing that movie and seeing who was cast as who. I think it has like Oprah as one of the main characters and Lynn Whitfield, just like a lot of like classic Black actors that I've always loved growing up. So it's a go-to for sure.
That's awesome. That's a new one for me. I'll have to look that one up.
It's good.
Okay, we have a couple more minutes left. I want to ask this one of your favorite questions. Do you have any fellow Bookstagrammers that you would like to shout out? Do you have any people that
oh my gosh,
inspire
literally.
you, your friends? Who do you want to give a shout out to real quick?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. Okay, so I loved, all my friends are, all my like very close Bookstagram friends, because I really do feel like I have Bookstagram besties. That's what I call them, my Bookstagram besties. I would say my favorites, of course, my original friend on here, Black Girl That Reads, Antonia. Hey girl. I love Mixed Girl Reader. I love Soul. She's amazing. We talk all the time, even on my personal Instagram. I love Bad Gal Reading. I love her page. Fashion Bee Reads. I love Anna's page, who I believe she was you guys's Meet the Bookstagrammer a couple of weeks ago, I believe. I love her page. I really love Well Read Black Girl. That platform, that page is amazing. I always go to their festival, so that's like one of my pages. I have their post alerts on, so I can always see when they post something. Melanated Reader is like, if you don't follow anyone, she is hilarious. She's like got the best content. So those are just some like off the top of my head that I love.
Yes, that was such a great list. And Melanated Reader actually messaged me almost immediately after I shared that you were going to be my next guest. I'm very, very excited you were going to be on this.
Yes, we're well friends. We're real friends. I have legit real friends from Bookstagram, which is just like I never imagined.
It's a crazy, crazy corner of the internet, but I love that we have genuine connections here. That's my favorite part.
Exactly. Yes,
yeah.
Me too.
Okay, so we are just about out of time, and that's a beautiful, wholesome, lovely way to end, I think. But
it is.
Thank you so, so much for joining me today, and thanks to everyone who's watching and asking questions. And this will be saved on IGTV for future viewing. If you need any of those amazing recs read back to you, they will be saved on our IGTV.
Yay.
So thank you so much. It was lovely to see your face.
Yes, thank you so much, Megan.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.